We'll get started here momentarily. As you guys are starting to hop on here, please do me a huge favor. Give us a thumbs up so we know who is tuned in. You can also start commenting on the video and we will get started with the content. But give us some good morning pleasantries. If you've got questions that you want to make sure that we touch on, we want to hear it. Okay, I think I fed in all of the links that we need for the broadcast today. Good morning and happy Friday to everyone. It has been a long week, but hopefully we all have a long weekend to celebrate kind of the 4th with a family, with friends, or just with your fur baby and outside in the park. So happy Friday. I'm Juliette Abdel, your president and CEO for the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And these live broadcasts, of course, are brought to you as a way to engage, to share with you resources, and of course, update you on information going on in our city, county, state, and sometimes even nationally. Now, the broadcasts are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can find many of those in the video section here on our Facebook channel. They are also available for a replay on our YouTube channel, Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And if you ever are interested in binge watching, forget Netflix, just pull up your phone, pull up your laptop or tablet, and scroll back to March of 2020. And that is how far along we have come. So over 200 different videos that we've brought to you to date with subject matter experts to electeds to, of course, updates that are relevant to you. Now, if you're not already engaged with us on all of our social media platforms, I will repeat this until I see the same amount, if not more, on all of the platforms across. But we are on Instagram and Twitter at WestC Chamber. Of course, on LinkedIn, Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and our website directly is westminsterchamber.biz. Now, all different social media platforms generally have different content that we share out. Sometimes we overlap, but the purpose behind them is to serve a different audience and to do so in a different level of engagement. So we definitely encourage you to connect with us, engage, tag us, like us so that we can respond. Now, if you're on this Facebook page or YouTube channel and it's your very first time, do not let it be the last or miss out on future opportunities. Hit the like button or subscribe button so that you can get alerted when we go live, and make sure that the settings allow for that following or be alerted as we post content. So you can find that mostly in the following section under notification. Hopefully I haven't glazed anyone over by this point. And if you are a returning viewer, then I hope that you will continue to share this message out to your network. You can do so by hitting the share button on this video so that they can also see that we're live, we're in real time, and can drop what they're doing, hop on, engage with us, and then pop off once we are done. But today's broadcast is especially one that I always enjoy bringing on here, and that is a dialogue with our educational institutions that are here. Of course, we're serviced by 3 different school districts: Adams 12th School District, the Westminster Public Schools, and Jeffco Public Schools. And who services those districts is generally their foundations, or they come alongside and really support them in their activities, in their needs, and filling some of those gaps. And so last year, around the time of COVID, when everything first unfolded, we did our best to bring you the information, not only as businesses, as residents, and fellow members that may have families or other kids in the schools. So we had all of the districts, their foundations on here, sharing what are they doing, how are they helping, and ways that you can help them. And so now that we're in this newer phase and kind of slowly emerging from this dark cloud, we want to bring back to you some of those updates from our foundations and then moving into our school district. And the very first one that I'm so happy to have on here with me is the Adams 12 5-Star Education Foundation's Executive Director, Shannon Hancock. Thank you so much for being on here with me.
Thanks for having me, Juliette.
Of course. Well, I've always enjoyed getting a chance to visit with you. You're one of those people that's so inspiring, and then you just rub off your energy. And so those are the types of people we want in the room, and to make sure that, you know, your heart is really invested in the work that you're doing. And I'm so glad that you are a part of that team, that you run that foundation, do what you do. And before I move forward, I already see Mayor Pro Tem DeMont has hopped on here and given us a good morning message. Thank you so much for being on here. But let's hear it from your end. I mean, how are things looking now? What are some of the resources that you guys are providing to the district? And then we'll feed in some of those links along the way as you reference them.
Yeah. Gosh, it seems like I just talked to you a few weeks ago, and I can't believe when you told me the timeline that it had been over a year. I am just absolutely blown away by how this has gone by, and it feels like a lost year for us and for everyone, and at the same time the longest year of our lives. It feels the same way for our students. They left school for spring break in March of 2020, and they went back very briefly in the fall, and then they were back home, and now we have students that have been in hybrid mode where they've been going back and forth between home and school, or they've been fully remote, or they've been fully back in person from about February 2021. And it's been quite a ride. So we've just been looking to, as a foundation, to support the students in the best ways we know possible, and taking a lot of direction from what the schools are telling us. We really try to keep our ear to the ground based on need. In the last year, we have set up now officially 31 resource closets in our local schools. So our most impacted schools out of 55, we have emergency food, hygiene supplies, school supplies, clothing, and household essentials for kids and their families to tap into. The idea of this is that our schools are the community hub, and that we can keep attendance up or increase attendance when kids have what they need to learn. So whether they need a pair of shoes, school supplies, some food to get by before a family member could go to maybe a food pantry, all of that is available to them at their schools, that they see the schools as a resource. It gives them an opportunity to, and some breathing room to get tapped into services. We've had a lot of families that have utilized these services simply because maybe they don't qualify for benefits, but they've hit on hard times because of COVID very suddenly. What's really interesting is families that sometimes are more in need, or those that aren't chronically in need, and they don't know where those services are, and it just gives them a little bit of time and space to figure out what it is that they need to get by. So our resource closets are there for them, and we are proud to announce as of this morning that we are keeping those open all the way through the 21-22 school year. So any family can identify their need and take advantage of those. There's no need proof of income or anything else. It's just, we want your kids here. We want them to be able to learn. We want them fed, warm, safe, dry, and in school. So we're super proud of that, and we're so thrilled to have the community support of that project. Another thing in how COVID has evolved a little bit for us is really the Summer Explorers program. The school district's doing an amazing job engaging thousands of students at their local schools and through activities throughout the summer. These are completely free for students, and it's been anything from art in the park to a summer reading program at Waterworld. Thank you, Waterworld. To just sports programs and theater programs and all sorts of things. Our teachers have come out in droves to really want to connect to their kids, give kids an opportunity to see what it feels like after so much time of being apart, of how to relate to each other social emotionally, and really start again engaging with their local schools and being part of the community. It's really a heavy focus on leadership, community, and mental health. And then one thing that we're really looking towards here in the fall is, what does that look like? Yes, our kids were back in school, but not all of them. A lot of them had chosen to stay home for the entire school year. What does it look like? What are the new parameters around COVID? How do we support them? A number of things that we're doing is really keeping a close eye on mental health and where the district might need some support in that area. It's really, there's a big unknown there. And one thing we need to remember is that while we're all coming out of COVID, there's a lot of kids and families that are going to see an even higher impact, because the resources are going to start to trickle down or go away. And so we want to keep a close eye on that and how our kids are reacting. I mean, imagine if you're a first grader, 1/5 of your life has been COVID. I mean, if you just get your head around what that looks like. For us, it was 1 year. For them, it was 1/5 of their life. We are looking at what our kids are getting ready to do with their futures. So finally, we're heavily supporting career exploration and career discovery, both in our Future Forward programs at the district, which is our career-oriented classes. That's everything from engineering, graphic design, culinary programs. We've got video production, construction, firefighting, EMT, on and on and on. And our kids get to explore so much. In fact, I heard a statistic that 1/5 of all of our kids take some sort of career-oriented class before they graduate from high school, which is a great number. We're supporting these programs through supplies and materials for low-income students who maybe couldn't afford what they need to be able to participate in the classes. We've given counselors in this past year a fund to be able to use at their discretion to help those kids, and that will continue thanks to RK, the RK Foundation. Thank you so much. We also, I'm so excited to announce this, and this is my first time publicly doing it. We had a donor that came in and said, you know what? I want to pay for the construction class to build a tiny house because they need that nuts to bolts experience from start to finish. And he's going to pay 100% of this project for the next 5 houses. And these houses are going to be donated to homeless communities around Denver. So
that's awesome. Congratulations.
An amazing project, right? I mean, just so exciting to see what's possible there. And it's just another example of the community coming forward. So that's a lot of what we're working on right now is our career discovery pieces, our basic needs and learning readiness, and really kind of keeping an eye on what's coming up here in the fall with our kids.
I think that is amazing. Thank you so much for utilizing our platform to announce this exciting new project that they have. I mean, this has been something that we've been hearing about for some time, just the development of it and the opportunity that's there to serve a need, especially as we're seeing the rising costs in housing and the entry level is not so entry for so many. So that is amazing. Now, are you working with a business that is very well versed in tiny homes that's providing them the guidance and the support, or how will they be developing the kind of the blueprint and the layout and all of that?
So our program, our construction program, Future Forward at Washington Square, has a highly qualified instructor who comes from industry. In fact, in all of our Future Forward programs, our teachers come from industry and become teachers. So they come with that embedded knowledge. Students actually started the program last spring, but didn't really know where they were going to go with it. They bought tiny house plans that they've been following really closely. It's already been framed up on the trailer and insulated. And when they come back this fall, they're going to be doing the HVAC and the electrical and doing all of the finished work on it to deliver the first one. So the expertise is already in-house, which we're thrilled about. But we also have companies like Encore Electric who have said, we want to come in and teach the electrical piece. Plus, we're going to verify that everything is perfect, and we're going to help you pass all the inspections to make sure that it's great going forward. It's just such a cool opportunity. I agree with you. You mentioned something about just the barrier to entry into housing and how difficult it is right now. And for kids to even be a part of that and have that piece of civic engagement in their learning, to say that they've gone through the process of building an entire house, but they've built it for someone and kind of putting an identity behind that is so amazing. So we're thrilled about that piece. Yeah.
Oh, I would be too. That's amazing. And then these resource closets, this is a newer effort. So this was not the case pre-COVID. Was this an idea that kind of came to fruition based on the need? Were you seeing other communities doing this? I mean, I love it. I think it's amazing that you're coming up with these immediate solutions so that they're, the kids are taken care of and they don't feel like they're at a disadvantage or they're falling behind because they don't have that, one need filled.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many things that can keep a kid out of school, like not having access to food, not having the right clothing or school supplies. We have an office with Whole Child Initiatives that's a grant-funded office in the district that has always dealt with referrals to their offices to help families that are struggling, to help kids with their needs, and to get through those barriers. A lot of time they're dealing with our homeless families in the district. Their referrals increased by 500% with COVID and continued to grow, and they couldn't handle it. And families were on such a backlog to get assistance and to get, this office does everything from tapping them into public benefits, to helping them get immediate needs met, to helping them identify their barriers. And they couldn't do it all. And so what we did was, and really it was the idea of Lisa Reed. She's this amazing woman at the district, and really just kind of decentralized the food portion of the efforts and said, gosh, if we can meet some of those really basic needs at this school level, not only is the school empowered and has agency to really take ownership of their own families and their own community, but it gives it slows down that referral process and gets people what they need right away. you can't wait a day or two to get food. It's a non-issue. A kid missing even one day of school has a huge impact on their education and where they are in the class. And there's been so many things that have kept our students out of school that, we don't need access to basic resources to be another one of them.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. And even Becca Bacon does. So Becca was tuned in earlier as we were talking about those closets, and we were sharing that they were extended into the 2021 to 2022 school year. And so she hopped on and quickly said, this is wonderful to hear about. So it's a need that you're filling. And I just think that's amazing. So how are you keeping up with making sure those are filled? Are you in charge of purchasing all of those that you're with the huge resources that you have in your back pocket, or are people donating and helping to address that?
Well, this wouldn't have been possible without the Adams County Foundation and their COVID relief funds. They were the impetus. Those funds funded 100% of the startup of 25 of our closets. And so huge shout out to Adams County Foundation. We have received funds from the City of Westminster and the Westminster Legacy Foundation to help with some of our Westminster schools needs. The City of North Glen also stepped up with some massive assistance with COVID relief funds. And now we just exhausted a food pantry grant from the state of Colorado that was $100,000 for food for last semester. And Albertsons Foundation has also provided $60,000 so far, and they're going to help with staffing all through the next school year. So those we can't do it without them, but that maybe is a quarter of what the need is. And so we're really looking to businesses and individuals to step in and say, I want to be a part of this. I want to donate. I want to adopt a school. We're starting a school adoption program for local businesses. And so we'll be talking more about that, because the idea is that this isn't a flash in the pan. I mean, there will be a couple of schools that say, hey, we met a need and now we're okay. And we're going to go forward without it. But what we'll see here, at least for the next year and into the next 2 to 3 years, is we'll need a lot of community support to keep it going.
Oh, I love this. I'm all about helping you guys make sure that this sticks around and that those needs continue to be filled. I mean, I think it's tremendous work that you're doing, and you stated it so well. There are some families that just did not qualify or don't qualify for those free meals or for those that support, and they may not even be so far off. That's the threshold of where it is, and what they can be making can be just slightly over. And then you factor in huge issues like COVID that came in, and now so many others would qualify in there that generally wouldn't. So I just think that's an amazing kudos to you for being able to bring it to fruition and working hard on it, at the same time working hard on all of these other activities that you have going on. So you even have a event that's coming up, I believe an outdoor event that's coming up soon for your foundation.
Actually, I think we're off. We just wrapped it up a couple weeks ago. Okay. So we had our first ever 5-star classic. It was a golf tournament, and huge thank you to everyone who showed up, and thank you to the City of Westminster for being a sponsor of that event. Super fun. We couldn't do our gala this year. We weren't even going to try, and those funds really do fund all of our initiatives and help fund our operations and everything else that goes into this, as you know how that works.
Oh my gosh, I do.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking at right now in terms of events. And so the next thing I think where people are going to see us is really going out and saying, hey, let's all step up as a community and support these resource closets. Let's do an adopt a closet program, that sort of thing. I believe there are 6 closets in the City of Westminster in our local schools. So that'll be really great. And then our Career Development Center, which will be our Career Resource Center, is going to be on our website live starting in October, where kids can really explore career opportunities. So if there's any businesses in the community that say, hey, we do something really cool here, and we'd like to give you a video to put on the website to show people how cool it is to work here or what it looks like to be in this industry, we would love to have those, because we want to tell the story of businesses in our community and how great these jobs are and why our kids should stay here and be a part of it.
Yeah, I love that. As soon as you stated the career day and exploration, I know that we've talked about workforce and providing some solutions. We are starting out the planning for our in-person job fair that will be in the fall.
Yes.
We'll be
Yes.
getting you plugged in definitely to that. I just think as many of us kind of working collaboratively as possible to fill those needs. I mean, those businesses are hurting right now. So, if
Oh
folks are
gosh, yeah.
trying to ask you directly questions or maybe find out more information or follow up with you after this broadcast, is there the best way that they can reach out to you?
Gosh, I'd love to hear from people via email. That's a great way to open the door so you don't have to worry about when I'm available. I'm at shannon.hancock at the number 5 starfoundation.org. You can also check out our website at www.5starfoundation.org and kind of see what we're all about and what we're working on. And we're always looking for volunteers, and we're going to need a lot more of them in the fall to help with our resource closets. So there's just so many touch points, so many ways that people can get involved and be passionate about it, whether it's 1 hour of your time or $1 or anything else. Like this is all goes back to our kids.
Absolutely, yes, and just making sure that they're taken care of. They're our next generation, and we want them to be set up and ready, and just as much as we can support them during this time. Because honestly, we've said this before, they were the ones that really got hurt even more significantly with COVID because they're used to that normalcy of the school environment, being around their friends, and just having to even adapt to this virtual where you have to talk to another person in a virtual setting is so different for them. I mean,
So
it's crazy.
different.
But
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
So we've included Shannon's email, and I'll flash it again for you all. It's shannon.hancock at 5 starfoundation.org. It's also included in the comment section of this broadcast. We've also included the website directly, and that's www.5starfoundation.org, where you can go get more information, learn more about those resource closets, maybe even just click through and donate if you are interested in supporting this effort or any of the other efforts that the foundation does provide. They were on the front line with supporting those families that were at a disadvantage for food or food insecurity, that needed access to internet, needed access to technology right when COVID happened. And so let's make sure that they're taken care of beyond this. The website also has any additional contact information, other upcoming activities that they have as a foundation. Now, in terms of, next year, when we're looking ahead at the fall, is there anything on your radar calendar wise, notable dates or key things that you want others to know about?
So I'd like them to keep their eyes out for our request for volunteerism. As our schools open back up and can do so safely, we are going to need volunteers in our schools to help with those resource closets. It's a great way to get involved. We're also hoping to do an open house of the Washington Square campus, which is part of the CTE program, the Future Forward program. So we can't set a date yet. Gosh, things are still so up in the air. We want to make sure, first and foremost, our students are safe and that they're getting the best education possible. And then secondly, then we'll start looking at how do we engage the community and let people know what's going on. So please just keep an eye out for those. We'll be putting out public announcements. Follow us on Facebook at 5 Star Foundation, and just keep up to date on everything that we do. We're also on Instagram, and I agree with you, Juliet. Like, I'd love to see just as many followers on Insta as there is on Facebook.
Right?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And we do have opportunities even in our foundation. If you like what we do, if you're excited about our efforts and our initiatives, we do have a few committees. We have a school outreach committee, we have our careers committee, and we have our finance committee that are looking for volunteers. So if this nonprofit work sounds interesting, or if it's a way that people feel like they're passionate about, they feel a passion for, I'd love to talk to them.
Thank you so much. I have typed in those different committees into the comment section. Of course, your Instagram and your Facebook. Engage with them, follow them, see the amazing work they're doing outside of just these isolated videos that we end up bringing them on for, because there's so much, right, that you guys are doing in that time. And we want to make sure that you're seeing that you're being engaged as a community member, as a business, and kind of doing our part to support those that are in need that we can help when we can. So believe it or not, Shannon, we're close to our 30 30-minute mark. So what I will go ahead and do is just kind of start wrapping up. And for anyone that is hopping on here later on, and I see Angie and a few of you that have tuned in at this part of the broadcast, know that the video will be up even after we're no longer live. So if you're watching this and we're not in real time, you can give us a hashtag replay so we know that you saw it, you heard, you kind of gained some of the information. Of course, if you had questions you didn't have a chance to ask because you weren't with us when we're live, you can type those questions into the comment section, DM the page so we can get that over to Shannon and get those answers for you taken care of. If you're interested in more information about the 5-Star Foundation, which I know I would be after hearing all this amazing work that they're doing, we've included their contact information, both the email address, the websites in the comment section for you. And we've included information just in short snaps or short sound bites from what Shannon was saying in the comment section so that you can kind of see some of those high points and follow through on those further. Now, our broadcasts, of course, are always Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays now as we are bringing all of our programs and events back live over these next several weeks. So we will be back on here on Monday with our mayor sites to give an update on things that are going on here in our community, programs that the city has going on, and of course, answer any questions, should you guys have any, on the agenda, study session, all the way to elections and more. But Shannon, thank you so much for carving out some time with us this morning, for doing what you do, because you serve such an amazing need in that part of the community, and everyone working in their area makes our communities better. And so I think that's amazing work that you're doing. And I always love to hear what you have going on.
Oh, thank you, Juliet. And thanks so much to the Westminster community. We appreciate you so much. And we're just so excited to see what else we can do in this next year. So
thank you.
All right.